And the fourth game is gonna be played yet again on Painted Desert, interestingly enough. But the gods are gonna be this time yet again different. So it seems that Joe, maybe he was playing actually random Egyptian, because he's really switching the gods all around quite a lot, but only Egyptians. Then he's gonna be playing Set. But for Brickhead, he's really going all around. He was having 2 Egyptians, Set and Ra. In the first game, he was having Loki, and right now in the fourth one, he's gonna be playing Kronos. And a setup of Kronos versus Set. And that is a matchup that you don't really see often at all. I'm really curious about this one, how it's gonna go. Okay, so let's start. In Painted Desert, it's a quite fun map. That could be actually quite interesting for both perspectives, because the players are quite close to each other. And it's quite an easy lane into the enemy base, so that could be abused, of course, by the Kronos. But also there are the more or less safer TCs on the sides of the map, and the golds could be also reasonably occasionally secure for the Egyptians. So it's not such a crappy map for the Egyptian either. So well, it's gonna be all about which player is gonna be using the map to his advantage slightly better. You have already seen that the gold is not really that well protected for Brickhead. Even though there's the tower, it's not really that far away from the TC, it has to be said. There's not really any kind of protection from the front side in there. As we also need to look on right now, Joe. How's he gonna be looking with this set? Okay, so he is probably right now gonna be having the hunting dogs, yeah. That's just a bit interesting in the last game that Brickhead didn't actually have hunting dogs on Blue Lagoon. When he was actually playing for Fast Mythic. Maybe it just doesn't work for the build order, not entirely certain, but definitely possible. But here we go with the gold mine, well, also kind of assailable from the front, potentially, by Turmas. Definitely could be seen from about here, right next to the palm tree in here. But otherwise, he does have the tower right next to it. DC is not that far away, and the second tower is not also that far away from it. So yeah, not really that bad. So let's turn off the Go 4 and let's enjoy how the map is gonna be looking. Alright, so top side TC gold, good combination for the Egyptian, of course. It's gonna be going a long way towards his gameplay, as he does have some zebras in there, so wall up here, and he's gonna be kind of happy about this gold and the TC combination. As on the left side, he's of course gonna be having quite a safe gold as well, with the hunt in there behind the TC. So if he can somehow wall up, for example, this part of the map, or even secure just the TC, which I'm kind of thinking might be really getting difficult against Brickhead, because he's not only Kronos, but he's playing really aggressively all the games, and he really likes to play like that, because of course he's a Norse main, and also prefers to play Poseidon. But yeah, well, for the opponent, it's not really gonna be that different, and especially this left side for Brickhead, the TC guarding basically this gold and the gold behind it as well. I'm really liking this a whole lot, and if he's gonna be capturing this, he's gonna be quite happy for the rest of the game. The one on the right doesn't provide all that much of map control, though if he can really, yet again, wall about here, he might still be able to protect this gold for him. As in the middle, it's gonna be kind of interesting how it's gonna be played, because there might be a few opportunities out to wall up. As Joe is right now casting the sight and the vision, of course, into the middle of the enemy base, trying to look where the gold is and where maybe he could be going for the shifting sense if he actually wants to, because we are already heading into that kind of advanced time department. Just to finish the talking about the middle, and there are those 2 cliffs in here and on the right side as well. Even though the ones on the right are kind of far away from each other, I could definitely see some kind of tactical walling coming up in the middle, not only trying to influence the gold, but basically to help with some kind of engagement. So I'm thinking that maybe it's gonna be really important who's gonna be controlling the cliffs here around the map, and allowing them to somehow have some kind of tactical walling in the middle of the map as well. But anyway, there we go. Joe is gonna be advancing at about 430. As he is already having plenty of food at this point. At 400 right about now. As for the opponent, he probably oh. I was actually thinking he might be advancing as well. But apparently not. It's not gonna be any kind of crash or anything. It's gonna be a bit more normal game, it seems like, for him. But yeah, well, right now he's basically waiting with the oracles here for one reason only. And it's gonna be, of course, the Prometheus and going for the Valor, so that he does get at least one of those. At least one of those villagers, heroic guys. As the hero villager is not only better at dealing with, of course, supernatural threats like the mythical units, but also will be having a better gather rates for himself. That is actually something that is commonly forgotten by Atlantean players. Because if you are in the mythical age and your economy is kind of problematic, then you always could be trying to make all your citizens into heroes. And if you do, then you are gonna be having bonus into the economy. That's another actually pretty good idea for a video, to be honest. Because of course, that does make quite a lot of difference. And in the late game, or basically in the late game, like minute by minute, you should be able to continually afford like heroic guys in the villages one by one. It shouldn't be really that much of a problem. And that should be really improving your late game economy. So yeah, don't underestimate that. And think about that next time you are playing Atlantean and you are struggling with late game economy. Because otherwise the late game economy is legit weak for Atlanteans. Their strength is basically up to the early mythical age. But once the game goes late game, they are always gonna be having problems. Hello Golden Skit, welcome to the stream. Hope you're gonna be enjoying the games. As even though we right now are finishing with this matchup between Brickhead and Joe, there are still gonna be more games to come. And they're gonna be 2v2s. And looking at the names, it should be quite fun indeed. And I'm really looking forward to them as well. Alright, you can see a very nice base building up by Brickhead. He's fully expecting he might be really attacked on the gold mine in there. So he is basically protecting it as much as he can. Though curiously enough, he's not wanting to basically let them escape into the TC. He just is gonna be happy with having them escape into the manor and maybe into the tower as well. As right now Brickhead is playing this quite defensively. He's really playing it defensively as much as he can. As he is expecting that Seth, the opponent, is gonna be really quite aggressive. And it really seems like right now he's probably scouting at the back where he's gonna be dropping. With this 15 cents, but he's so far not really having luck finding it. But he has cast the vision, so he does have the line of sight. So what's like going on now? Oh, right now you're in trouble. Right now you're in pretty serious trouble right now with the Pharaoh dude. 4 speed, 4-5, he's gonna be catching up to Turma of course as well. So I'm kinda having this, thinking that this Pharaoh is gonna be toast. Not good. Not good for Joe, but maybe he's not gonna be minding all that much because he did already secure the all-important town center in there. He already does have, of course, the extra relic monkeys from the relic that he was able to capture. He's gonna be having a lot of gold all around, and he is gonna be, oh well, taking the, okay, so he basically recognized that he doesn't want to lose the Pharaoh, and he basically used the 15 cents to the best effect possible that he could have, and that was stealing basically all the army from Brickhead, forcing him to still be defensive and kill 2, or actually maybe 3. Yeah, 3. He killed 3 more mills. That's actually quite solid for this early in the game. And Brickhead, oh well, he at least did get the relic that I was kind of looking to have a look there at, or have a look at that as well. And that is quite an important one, because if that one came for the opponent, for the Egyptians, you can kind of expect what could be coming. Tower spam and a really difficult time for the Kronos here. But yeah, well, that didn't happen. And I'm right now curious what he's gonna be actually playing. He should be probably booming, since his opponent is booming as well. And then keeping the deconstruction for the Migros. Yeah, I'm thinking that's gonna be a solid gameplay for him. Because basically just scout where your opponent is gonna be dropping the Migros. Which I, at this point, fully expect he's gonna be somewhere here next to the DC. Because he does have the gold, so he doesn't need to secure another gold mine just yet. And once that happens, he should be really scouting there once the heroic age hits. And deconstructing it. And maybe even trying to do something a bit more. Let's see what it's actually gonna be. So far he's trying to get the second DC, of course, as he's having the economy more on the right side for, of course, all the zebras, which might be actually leading him all the way forward to maybe even try to block this goal, and maybe even transport his buildings behind the TC in here. So far he hasn't really used that all that much. Basically used it only to transport the manor to help him defend against potential raiding in here, right next to the TC. But if this TC actually gets finished, which is right now gonna be kinda tricky. That'd be significantly tricky. Oh, is he gonna be in time or not right now, Joe? He might be in time to stop it. Oh, well. Okay, right now this is though gonna be kinda difficult battle for him. So even though he could be slowing it down at least, right now it doesn't seem all that tenable, because he's, of course, if he's gonna be fighting against the TC, it's gonna be opening the opportunity for all the units, for the Turmas, for the Oracles, for basically everything that he's having in here to attack the units and basically kill them one by one, which is exactly right now what is happening. And that means that the TC is delayed, so let's not say that it's actually not important. Every kind of delay in expert matches is of course quite important, but it still is finished. And since it does right now capture him both of those gold mines, he is gonna be quite comfortably set up for the next stage of the game, and the heroic age might be coming sooner rather than later. For Joe though, it might be pretty much the same, even though he's not really having enough food at this point. He's gonna be already coming with husbandry onto all of those goats, who should be kind of solidly fattened up already. Yep, they already are, but there is, oh well, a bit of an attempt right now by Joe to actually come for the TC at the back, which has been scouted by Brickhead, but I don't really think that he can get there fast enough. But question is if he actually is having Pharaoh there. If not, then he will be there in time. Where is the Pharaoh? Oh, well, here. A bit idling after finishing with the gazelles in there, but he's finally switching into the gold in here. Even though he doesn't really need all of it all that much just about now. But without the Pharaoh here, he really will be too slow. He will be too slow, and Brickhead will be basically just in time to yet again slow it down. I don't think really stop it, but slow it down definitely. So basically that's gonna be a bit of an exchange of what they both have done to each other. Okay, so Monkey's coming forward. Exactly at the correct time, and right now for Joe it's gonna be definitely helping. So right now I'm thinking that Brickhead is actually playing it well, because he has recognized that there is no Pharaoh, he still does have plenty of time. And if he can right now just basically get rid of the army first, then he could be quite a bit more easily, spare a few units to get rid of the villagers and maybe stop the TC. But right now he maybe just gave up on it, because the TC just now gonna get finished, even without the Pharaoh, and that's right now the reason why of course Brickhead is gonna be falling back and not really gonna be standing here too much longer. Joe is definitely right now gonna be getting a lot of gold, also for basically switching into farms. I'm thinking it might be also one of the reasons why he is switching so many villages on the gold, even though he's having plenty of it. As he should be having Shadow, right? Oh, he did advance troop tag though, didn't he? Yes, he did. So where's my Shadow, Joe? Where is my Shadow boy? Oh, there it is. In Temple. In Temple it's being researched. Yeah, I don't really play Egyptians. I was just basically right now looking where it's being researched. It was the last building that I was actually expecting. But yeah, well, it's gonna be in the Temple, and that means that here really is gonna be exactly right now time for dropping the farms. But still, the heroic age is gonna be quite far away, still about 2-3 minutes at least at this point. So that means with the army being quite solid already, oh, that's a lot of Prometheans, that is gonna be able to take down the TC at this point. Let's switch. I was kind of thinking that maybe if actually Brickhead wanted to advance into the heroic age, he could quite easily advance their whole lot sooner than his opponent, but yeah, well, this is a big problem. This is right now a pretty big problem for Joe. He's gonna be losing this TC. I don't really think there's any kind of doubt about that, because all the army is coming to the wrong side, and it's not really that strong either. It's not really that strong, because I'm thinking that Joe was right now prioritizing to actually go into the heroic age, or at least trying to get resources for that. But right now the Pharaoh is gonna be dying quite easily to all the Turma spears, or pilums, or what they're actually throwing in here. As the Pharaoh is still hidden and waiting for the opportunity to emerge, which is right now. But yeah, Brickhead is really paying attention in that, and even though Joe definitely could have escaped from that, because you could have seen that the animation before they shoot is really taking quite some time. So the Pharaoh should be able to deal a bit of damage, should be able to shoot, because they are shooting quite a bit faster, I'm thinking, in the animation than Turmas, and then hide in the TC. But yet again, it wouldn't really solve the issue. He would be maybe saving the Pharaoh, but he still wouldn't be saving the TC at all. As even right now with the mercenaries, just wasn't enough. As we have expected, right now the TC is gone. And Joe's booming is gonna be a bit slower right now, as I know that TC is being captured right now by Brickhead at the very back, so his economy seems to be going quite well. But I would be liking a bit more wall in here, because once the heroic ages are actually gonna be hidden, then the Radiant is gonna be coming in full, quite full, and especially with the chariot archers, of course, from the Egyptian. But this time this is a pretty good battle, because of the Kerobalistae, basically because only of them, as they are really quite a hard unit to deal with, as the opponent wasn't having the numbers for that at all. And that is of course not that good news for Brickhead, or rather, that's a good news for Brickhead. It's not good news for Joe, because without this TC, his booming capabilities are gonna be quite diminished, and he might be having problems with gold actually, because this was the one that was supposed to be protected at all costs. And the next one inside his base is almost out, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 1200. Not really too strong at this point. And the next one is in the middle of the map. And he doesn't have all that much of a chances and anything. How he could be actually going all the way there and trying to capture it for himself. So far it seems like that he's really having kind of problems with the Kronos that Brickhead is playing. And I'm really expecting that the Heroic Age might be coming faster for Brickhead as well. So he is kind of set up for quite a solid game, especially with all the military buildings being produced right in the middle in here and right next to the TC, which is gonna be making, of course, everything all that much easier for Brickhead as far as controlling this town center goes. Alright, I'm just gonna look here. Yeah, it's the TC that is actually in the middle of the map, not the one next to the town center, around the gold. Next to the middle of the map here, so very well played by Brickhead as far as map control goes, but I really would be liking a bit more walling for basically both sides on the right, as Joe does luckily have another gold mine in there, just didn't notice it on the minimap, so it's not in any kind of immediate threat. But still, potentially losing this gold is not something that he would be counting on all that much, so basically he needs to put all the effort into trying to hold this position and not really relinquishing it at all, because even just the chance that Brickhead could be capturing for himself and going basically 4 TCs against 2, yeah, that has to be a bit of a scary thought for Joe at this point. So Neftis is coming forward, Brickhead not yet advancing, so in the end it's really gonna be Joe who's gonna be advancing faster into the Heroic Age and not Brickhead, as I was maybe expecting in there a bit. And the combination, of course, of the army and the ancestors, it might be getting difficult for Brickhead, because Brickhead, as Heart of the Titans is right now being researched for better units, of course, he doesn't have power anymore. So you would have to invest into the heroes, and he doesn't really have all that many resources for that. He does have a lot of wood and gold, so maybe he could make heroes out of the Turmas. Not really that impossible thought, that could definitely be working for him. So maybe he could be getting rid of the ancestors, but still it will be a really difficult battle, looking at the numbers just like that. But he is already going through Hyperion into the next age as well, and Hyperion, those are satyrs, right? Yeah, we're gonna be seeing satyrs. You're gonna be seeing a few satyrs here and there. But much more importantly, you might be even seeing the situation as we have talked about. And Joe, oh yeah. And he's actually casting it very well. Right now he's casting it very well, right basically into the back of the enemy army, so that he can get some kind of shots, some cheap shots and cheap hits into the Cairo Ballista. Right now killing already 2 of them. Probably gonna be the 3rd one gonna be dying as well. But much more importantly, he didn't even know it. But it's very well timed, because Brickhead was hoping that he can get the TC for himself. He was already sending villagers in there. But unfortunately, that's not really gonna be happening. It's gonna be Joe's, as he's dropping the Migdol right on the exactly important spot. Gonna be continuing with the siege works, and a bit later, he is gonna be taking, of course, the TC just for himself. So yeah, that's bit of lucky timing for Joe. But of course, he kinda knew that he needs to do something quick, and he did. And that's gonna be a pretty solid chance for him, how to yet again secure the left part of the map. But the gold mines are really gonna be becoming a bit of a problem, as right now the tactical walling is working wonders for Brickhead, as Joe cannot really get anywhere else in there. And this is exactly actually what we were talking about at like minute 3-4. About those cliffs being very important for actually tactical walling, and it's already happening in here. So yeah, actually analyze the map quite properly and realize quite early what might be really interesting for the gameplay for both players and what might be used. And it actually is used right now, as we are looking at the heavy archers being researched, and it's not only for the Turmas, well, not really for the Turmas at all. It's of course gonna be for the Archive coming a bit later, and of course we are gonna be waiting for the destroyers coming forward from the palace as well in here, as irrigation is researched for some solid economy for Brickhead all around, as the TC is finally finished. So both players are right now gonna be at 3 at the same population limit, but much more importantly, Joe is gonna be producing a few mercenaries into the battlefield in here, as this siege works is gonna be rather serving more than anything as a kind of halfway protection, of course, for the town center. And here we go, with the reconstruction definitely need to use against the Migdol to prevent more units from being made, and basically to strangle some kind of production capabilities for the opponents for as much longer. But here we go, 45 TC, and from Joe, because Joe, well, If Joe is actually anything that I remember him by in the games that I cast of him, it's that basically he is taking usually a very long time to get fortified EC. He's usually sticking to normal TCs for inordinate amount of times, and it's usually, of course, a bit of a problem for him as well in the games. But right now, heading into the fortified TC, that's so good. That's so good to see, because it's gonna be meaning that the game is gonna be a whole lot more difficult for Brickhead. And there we go with the tornado to get rid, of course, of the palaces and maybe also catch a bit of an army. And he did. He actually did catch quite a solid army. You can see at least 3-4 Cairo ballistae dead right there. And the Mythical Age might be a bit of a surprise for Brickhead, because Brickhead is not going anywhere at all. You can see right now having absolutely no food whatsoever, as he's having apparently some problems switching into the farms. There's also the irrigation being researched a bit earlier. And right now all the upgrades all around. This is probably gonna be a bit of an issue for Brickhead, and might be having some kind of second thoughts about his aggression in here, because it's gonna be coming back to bite him, it seems. But not without the siege. So that's a bit of a silver lining for Joe, or rather for Brickhead, not for Joe. As Joe is gonna be slowed down, because of course without any kind of siege, he just cannot push forward all that easily. But he's right now gonna be having catapults, and that's gonna be making things not that difficult all around. We are right now looking heavy axemen with the baseline in there, in the copper shields and copper mail. Chariot archers are still solid and normal. Heavy archive we have seen already. And copper shields and copper weapons. And heavy destroyers as well. So good upgrades all around. But this basically right now leads me to the thought I just wanted to mention. Not entirely certain if it's basically the logic for Brickhead in there, or rather for Joe. I'm just so far completely confused in this game. And confusing the players for some reason. But anyway, and that is that actually defensive upgrades are more important than attack upgrades, due to how actually it works, due to how the counting works in Age of Mythology and basically overall Age of Empires games. In Age of Empires it's even more prominent, that basically every time you should be coming for defensive upgrades first, for armor, and only after for attack. But in Age of Mythology it's not really that much different. So first you should be always going for the defensive upgrades, because they do make bigger difference than the attack. They do make the bigger difference overall. But of course you want to get all the upgrades, so if you don't have resources for the defensive upgrades, then just go for the attacking ones, like why not? Why not indeed? But anyway, that was just a bit of a sideways information here, as right now finally the catapults are in there, and they're of course gonna be working wonders against all the buildings in here that are quite in range and quite close by, as we are gonna be waiting for some kind of what actually is he gonna be using the traitor on? It's gonna be the question, because Joe is not gonna be having all that many units to be stolen. Maybe the Avengers, if they're gonna be made. The one Avenger seems to be already dead. Yeah, you can see he died there. It was the golden sword in there, which I think... Oh no, actually the Murmulos are having golden swords as well. I'm not entirely certain. But Avenger definitely does have a golden one as well. But right now, since the battle is gonna be raging here for quite a bit longer, and it seems like that Joe should be slowly, ever so slowly advancing forward in here. I'm gonna be checking around, because this gold is just now out. And what's right now Joe gonna be doing? He can have quite a solid trade from about here all the way to his TC, so that's another way how the map is actually not that bad for Egyptians if you actually wall properly. But he could be moving forward onto this gold mine if he actually knows about it, as chaos has been used. Chaos has been used, and oh well, I confused Chaos and Traitor, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was thinking that actually he was through Rhea with Traitor, and he wasn't, of course. He wasn't, and that right now means that of course the chaos is gonna be used in some kind of moments like here, but often it is, well, often in a matchup like here against an Egyptian, he cannot really rely on more mythical units being in there, as finally satyrs are making an appearance. But otherwise it's usually good to wait for a battle where there are mythical units and normal units, because of course the chaos is having basically two pools, one for myth units, one for normal units, so you're gonna be having a bit more effect out of that than just basically using it on only one type of the units in here. But anyway, satyrs, they are not really all that OP anymore as they were in one of the versions of the patch. And if maybe you saw on RTS-Sanctuary the fun from Extended Edition from the balance patch from Hagrid, the special attack from Cyclopses completely leveling a huge area of trolls and basically the whole army, completely destroying the whole army by one special attack with a Cyclops. Yeah, that's a funny combination. That's a funny combination of videos in there. So give it a look on RTS-Sanctuary. It was posted by Visanji on the normal discussion, general discussion. Definitely interesting. Give it a look. And it was kind of similar. To be honest, not that brutal. Definitely not that brutal with satyrs in one version of the patch, but it was kind of quickly fixed. Because of course it was a bit too much. But right now they are toned down and they are really having quite a nice usage in the army if you can actually micro them properly. And it's gonna be probably forcing Joe into a few more priests. You can see already they are making an appearance in here. But yeah, well, I really wanted also to talk about the possibilities of the right side. And you can see right now the siegers are coming up from Joe. And he might be really right now reacting to Brickhead as well. But Brickhead did scout it properly. He did have the Oracle in there to let him know if maybe his opponent is gonna be coming that way. But yeah, well, the palace is gonna be working wonders to actually save the gold mine for himself. As on the left, he's not really doing that well, Brickhead. He's having really problems here. But I would be also waiting for the Mythical Age finally, but he's having significant problems with that. You can see he's stuck. He's literally stuck in the Heroic Age. He's overdoing the wood economy most definitely. Should be switching a few more villages into the farming in there. As right now the upgrades are not really coming for Joe. You can see only baseline in there. Not really the line upgrades either. But for the opponent he's having the heaviest all around and the bronze shields. The bronze shields are of course gonna be quite a bit of difference against basically kind of Pierce heavy army. Not only the priests and the chariot archers, but also of course the siege towers, and he'll be needing quite a bit more axemen in here. Joe, so that he can deal with all of those windmills and maybe even with a few more destroyers a bit later. But for destroyers you need a palace, and I don't see one. Ah, well, that's gonna be one, of course, right next to gold mine, but that's not really useful at all, because he doesn't have any kind of help in the main battlefield here, and he's gonna be fully relying apparently on archers with satyrs. Huh, it's a kind of funny army. And finally here we go. Even Kontarai are gonna be made. Well, he could be making them, and they could be some kind of solid unit, but you mustn't forget that he doesn't have Theia, of course, as Kronos, which means he doesn't have Lens of Stone, so that it cannot be used against TCs and whatever. He really cannot do it all that much. But still, they are gonna be on balance patch quite a good unit. They are not really bad. You can see 39% pierce armor is pretty solid against anything that is shooting arrows and something like that. So basically against the bulk of Joe's army. So not a stupid unit at all. But I really would be liking a whole lot more some kind of proper usage of the satyrs. But it's getting difficult because of course the priests from the Egyptians are quite a solid counter unit to them. And it seems that Brickhead is having a bit of a problem somehow singling them out all around. Otherwise right now Joe desperately trying to go for the gold. As the halfway into the Mythical Age is finally there for Brickhead. As Brickhead is gonna be getting from Atlas its implosion, right? Atlas should be Implosione. Yes, it is. And that's gonna be used there. Is he gonna be trying to take down the TC? I don't entirely think so. Not entirely certain what he's gonna be doing all around. He at least stopped the siege works at the top side, so he's not gonna be like assaulted on the gold. Which is of course one of the reasons why Joe is just still trying to go for the gold in the middle, because he's basically run out of any kind of other options, and his trade apparently is not really strong enough just now. But finally it seems like the Brigade was able to finally push through, and it seems that the Kontarai are really gonna be paying off for him. It really will be. The combination of Kontarai with all the archers and the satyrs seems to be really holding, as Joe is kinda low on priests. And looking how he's desperately trying for the gold. He probably is down on gold. Yeah, he is. He really is down quite significantly on gold. And he actually cannot afford the priests. Okay, that might be actually quite important for Brickhead right about now. Because that will be meaning that those satyrs could be a bit more important in the game overall. And if he can single out at least the few priests that are available here. Oh well, that was costly. That was a special attack right there from the satyr. Yep, definitely. That was a splash damage, and right now Joe is losing like almost all the villages on the gold here. He lost about 10 plus, most definitely here. Can you see all the dead bodies in there? That's quite deadly for him, especially in the state that his economy is in. And with armies coming forward and maybe some kind of priest, or other priest, some siege coming forward as well. I just used to priest siege overall. Some kind of siphons would be a really good idea right now from Brickhead. As if he could get rid of the TC, then that could be a situation that Joe might not be able to come back from. And of course, the situation is getting a whole lot more into Brickhead's hands because, of course, as I said just a bit before, Joe doesn't have more gold. He doesn't have too much gold, so he cannot produce all that many mercenaries. So he cannot help himself all that much. And right now it seems like that the implosion is coming exactly at the place where we're actually looking at. So it seems like it's gonna be worthwhile for him. He's gonna be killing not only the army, but also quite significantly damaging the Migdol and the TC. Oh well, that's almost dead, so it's gonna be easy to kill. It's of course gonna be helping quite a bit. Helping quite a bit indeed. As the Migdol is gonna be down to like almost half health. TC is down to 2,500. And that's a whole lot more killable. That's a whole lot more killable than 4,000, isn't it? Even with the Masons and the fortified TC, of course. It's not that easy to defend right now for Joe. And we should be really expecting that Brickhead is going to be producing right now the siphons and coming forward, ever forward. As Joe is right now trying to raid around. He did kill at least one of the citizens in there on the goal. But is it really going to be enough? That's the real question. You can see he is out of gold mines and his trade is not just strong enough for this. Even though he's popped. I'm thinking that at this point a lot of the population limit is going to be in the caravans. Oh well, yeah, definitely. Most definitely you can see. That's so many caravans. But has he actually killed a proportional amount of villagers? That's the real question here. That's the real question in here, as of course he's raiding all around, getting the heavy cavalry for Brickhead, so he's having at least some better heavy Kontarai and already having champion Archai in there, with the upgrades into the armor coming up as well. Into the melee range, as the opponent is still at the heavy chariots and only the baseline in there. So yeah, not really moving anywhere, as he just doesn't have the economy for that. Brickhead is of course having a bit of a problem with the gold as well, it seems like, as he's already having trade route, but still seems to be having a bit better situation than Joe. Who right now will be able to produce at least a few mercenaries, so it might still help him. But of course, he's not really repairing that fast enough. It's not really looking that promising for him, as with only pierce damage units, of course, and shooting units, he just cannot get rid of those fire siphons fast enough, and they are doing so much damage in here right now, so that means the TC is gone, and that is another level of problem. Or is it gone? Right now, those 6 villages with the Pharaoh actually repairing exactly as fast as the siphon was actually dealing damage to that. So let's not be too hasty. Let's not be too hasty just yet. It seems that Joe is actually gonna be getting out of the mess. Or is he? Because second mess is just coming for him. And it's gonna be 3 at the same time. Oh well. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. This is gonna be destroyed just in time. And this is another interesting idea by Brickhead, trying to push right now forward with at least a few towers, as he's recognizing that if he can get rid of this 45 DC, the game might just be over in here. As on the right, oh, somebody forgot auto-queue. And so far he has at least right now noticed, but maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't. Let's assume that he didn't. So far, he hasn't really done anything that was like letting us know that we would be like misplaying, so let's assume he did it on purpose. And in that case, it's gonna be of course solid attack on the town center, which right now we finished with the wall exactly in time, but yeah, that's just like 3 seconds of a delay for all of those dudes. Heavy destroyers of course, and they're gonna be coming forward. What is actually the bonus for him? Yeah, that's just basically siege, or rather cheaper. So that's quite a solid bonus for him, but yeah, good luck. He's gonna be finishing with the architect, so he's gonna be having even more hit points, like 4,500. That's pretty solid at this point. 4,340, that's the max that the set can get. Right now, those dudes, even with all the mercenaries and with the villages in there, it's gonna be kinda difficult, because those villages are right now gonna be outage of the economy. That's a lot of farms. It's a lot of farms indeed, and Brickhead is actually going another mile. He's going another mile. He's just gonna be dropping military buildings in there when everybody is just being busy. And yeah, well, Joe is seeing that, of course, because of the buildings. So they need a few villages to destroy the citizen at least. Now this is definitely quite a tight battlefield in here. If I had to guess, it's gonna be standing at TC in that. But right now, it's of course gonna be given a bit of an opportunity on the left. On the left, of course, to produce a few more towers, which seems to be really working very well for Brickhead. And since he has to spare some population limit on the right, he's gonna be having easier time, I think, right now, Brickhead, on the left, to send the fire siphons a bit closer to the TC and maintain damage. And of course, Yep, as we expected, all of those Jews are there. But the mercenaries, of course, and the extra army and the population limit is gonna be right now getting rid of the Brickhead's idea. Which was quite a nice diversion though. It could be really working for him in the long run. So even though this is yet again gonna be filled up, this hole in the wall in there, it's still opening the opportunity on the left. And you can see that right now, the divided attention. This is not like that Joe couldn't have repaired it sooner. This is just the power of dividing attention. Yeah, just basically divide and conquer. Most definitely. You can right now see without the Pharaoh empower him. I'm thinking this might be really falling. Especially with this Kontarai being right next to it. Come on, Kontarai. TC, please. Oh, come on, Brickhead. Come on, Brickhead. Don't fight the units. Fight the TC. You can just kill it by basically all the units. Yeah, this is kind of misplayed by Brickhead. But in the end, it's not gonna be having any kind of huge effect. Because he was able to take it down. So, yep. Since he did have quite a nice side attack on the right, he just basically screwed up Joe's mojo pretty much and allowed him to make a mistake and took advantage of that very well indeed. And that is basically why it's important to take initiative in games. Because if you take the initiative, you are forcing your player to be reactive. And when you are reactive, you are much more prone to actually mistakes. So yeah, if you do have the opportunity, do try to force the game into where you want it to go. Because that's how you win games. As right now, the TC being killed, that's such a significant problem. Such a significant problem, even though, oh well, can you look at Joe's economy, 5,000 wood in there. Like, maybe sell it? Yeah, right now he did. Now he did. Or maybe he just went to upgrade something. I don't exactly think, or rather know what. So I'm rather thinking that he maybe sold it or anything. But anyway, he's right now trying to finish with the Migdol because right now Joe realizes that he cannot go for the TC just like that. He basically right now needs to go bit by bit, trying to secure the map. But it's gonna be always difficult, as even though he finishes the Migdol, it's already halfway down. And since the Pharaoh has been apparently killed here a bit before, and he still hasn't respawned, it seems, without the Pharaoh, it's always gonna be difficult for the Egyptian because it's night and day. Empowering the building or not, and that is the reason why it's getting so much difficult right now for Joe to handle the situation. Also the repair, also right now the secondary repair, and even the building of the Migdol. So right now the Migdol is completely a goner because of the array of 5 siphons being just here. There's not much of a question about that, and that's of course right now gonna be moving forward into the next Migdol, and I would be kind of liking, oh yeah, he is doing it. I was just thinking that he should be really Brickhead moving forward with the towers next to the TC. So that not only is he actually gonna be disallowing Joe to go for it all around, but so that he does have some kind of more solid idea how to actually go for it himself. But yeah, here we go. You can see those heavy spearmen having the upgrade from the Mythical Age, the greatest of the 50. I think that's from the Mythical Age, right? And heavy spearmen, of course, and the baseline still the same. But well, for the opponent, and the heavy chariots in there, for the opponent is Champion Archai, and the armors are getting better. He's already double bronze and copper in there. So he does have the technological advantage above his opponent. And well, even though this Migdol is yet again probably gonna be finished with all the extra hit points in here, as he's right now. Ha! This is interesting, as Joe not even gonna be finishing the Migdol with all of them as fast as possible. He's thinking, he felt that he was actually pushing his opponent back, and that he is having the opportunity to take the TC for himself. Fortunately, he didn't see the siphons. And right now, it's gonna be costing him the Migdol as well. It's gonna be costing him the Migdol as well, because you can see already Brickhead, screw the TC. I'm gonna destroy the Migdol. The TC is coming down way too slow. So yeah. Joe just trying to do too much at the same time, and right now it's gonna be resulting in the Migdol being already 1000 hit points less than it could have been. And he might really be paying for trying to be a bit too greedy and trying to see opportunity where it actually in the end wasn't. So yeah, that might be a bit of a problem. Right now though, I see a bit of a development on the right where Joe is trying to produce some barracks and siege works, which might be, of course, inspired by what Brickhead did against him. So right now he's gonna be probably trying to apply the same medicine to his opponent to see if it's gonna be working or not. Now that this is very far away, but there is a trade route, of course, in here as well. So it might still be quite dangerous for Brickhead. Still could be. But, of course, the problem remains for Joe, that he doesn't have the population limit to even do that. As if he produces a few more units here, which he kinda can, and it's gonna be meaning like 10-15 population limit here. That's gonna be solidly missing on the left side. But of course, Brickhead already does have the advantage, and like having 20 population limit more, or about like 30 to 40. That is a bit of a difference, isn't it? As even Titan is being researched right now by Brickhead. And of course, that is not something that Joe will be able to actually stop. Because he doesn't have any kind of good powers left. And it's gonna be completely behind the lines in here. Not probably here. I'm thinking here. Either here or literally here, right next to the military buildings, because that seems to be the safest spot with all the towers and whatever. So I'm thinking that may be the case for him, as Argus is dying in there just now. But the armies are still coming forward, and finally some even champion fanatics are coming into the battlefield. As he is ready for the battle. Is the champion Kontara already as well? Yeah, well, all the champions in here, opponent have been only heavy. And, oh well, he did invest into the bronze mail, so maybe he still will be having a bit of a fight in him left in there. But to be honest, with the palace right now sneakily built on the left, or not, it actually wasn't sneakily built, it was transported there. From the no, this was destroyed. It was just destroyed by this little gameplay by Joe on the left. But he saw probably move there. As this one is gonna be finished at the bottom, and that is something that Joe didn't really exactly count with all that much, and that is gonna be making things a whole lot more difficult, because of course that's a whole lot of extra shooting, and much more importantly solid units right into his back. And that's why right now Joe is gonna be giving up on the game, and seeing that there's really not much of a chance how he could be getting the town center for himself. Yeah, there really wasn't. Was there. But good game. Good game in a very rare matchup of Kronos versus a set. That was a nice one. That was a significantly nice game, this one. Nice little place and everything all around it. It was one to enjoy, and the whole actually matchup between Joe and Brickhead, all 4 games were engaging in different ways. Even the shorter ones at the start. They were really fun. They were really fun indeed, and Brickhead is definitely a special player. If you look at all of those 4 games, in all of them he played really differently, different gods, different strategies. So he really does know his game. He really does know his game, and it's kind of easy to see why he actually is lately beating most everybody. Most of the time. And he really quite easily could be basically one of the, if not the best active player today. He really could be. Okay, solid economies of course all around. Kinda similar, not really that much different. As the military, that was of course a lot of units, it was quite a solid meat grinder. You can see like now military count 594 Joe, units killed 421 and lost 611. And as for, of course, for Brickhead 492 or rather 429 and killed one or rather 550. I cannot even say the numbers correctly here. That helps. That certainly helps. But it could be also because Brickhead was having the horses in there and maybe even more siege, but Joe was having siege as well, so maybe the population limit was a bit different there. Not really certain. Not really certain too much. Are Kontare actually 3-pop or not? I'm kinda thinking that they are. Yes, they are 3-pop. But so are Chiriotaches, so who knows? Who knows indeed? The military units were kinda still the same. I can see this kinda interesting graph. As it's continually like falling the number of the units here. It's interesting from multiple standpoints. That basically means that Joe, even if he was 1 TC down, he was still able to maintain basically the same amount of units as Brickhead. So that's really interesting. And at the same time, it also means that basically they were investing into trade a whole lot more as the game went. And that was resulting into basically a lower amount of military units because they were popped. They were popped all the time. Funny. Funny and interesting. GG.